Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Suited Kings podcast. Today, we have a special guest with us. He is a very active member in the Discord, which I don't think has been true of any of our past guests. But more importantly, he recently won $1 million at the World Series of Poker. Mike Wilklow, welcome to the podcast.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
What's up, Mike? Welcome, buddy. Glad to have you. And like Wes said too, very active user in the Discord. It's cool to finally have you on and talk about the success you got to experience this summer. I'm hoping that a lot of our listeners will get to, hear your story and kind of, go along for the ride. That's what I'm here for, at least. So,
Sure. Sounds good.
all right. Well, I think we're kind of discussing on how we wanted to tackle this. So obviously, to people who listen regularly, this is kind of a new format for us. We're going to start dropping a second episode each week where we have a guest on. We break down hands, talk about different runs that they've had and stuff like that. Mike, like Wes said, you won the Mystery Millions, which is, I think, event 1 of the 2025 WSOP. Is that right? Was it 1?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, and you beat out, how many entries was in that?
19,000 something, 19,600 maybe, something like that.
That sounds
So
right.
you won a live tournament with over 19,000 entries. I mean, it's just a dream come true, obviously. I mean, there's no denying that. But before we get into that run, I think it might be beneficial for us to kind of just dive into your past, how you picked up poker, what poker was like for you leading up to this summer, and then kind of get into the run. Sound good?
Sure, yeah.
All right. So yeah, let's just, I guess, start off with how you found poker.
So I mean, I first played as a kid, just like at lunch, with fruit snacks and stuff. But then like really got exposed to it when, in the Moneymaker boom on ESPN. Like I was like going over to my friend's house to watch the new episodes of the main event. And I love that. Still do, actually. I like rewatching those old main events.
Me too. I actually have rewatched them many times. I will say I do slightly miss the ESPN edited versions of all those where they built the character development
so
and
much
stuff.
better. So much better. Like they used to show, this is going to be a really long-winded answer because I'm already going on a tangent, but they used to have a feature table and they would show like 3 hands in an hour from the feature table. Like they have a whole episode, they'd show like 3 hands from the feature table. And like the entire rest of the episode was like going around the field and like, here's somebody blowing up in this section. And like, now we're doing like a chip stacking competition between Phil Hellmuth and Antonio Esfandiari.
Yep.
And like it was all entertainment, instead of just like I can't sit and watch like people, tank for a minute on the flop and then like 5-minute long hand of like who cares, like I much prefer the old ESPN
I
shows.
agree. And Wes isn't familiar as this was before his time. But
I'm very much familiar with it. Yeah, I've watched a lot of that too.
Just kidding, buddy. Oh man. Yes, no, I completely agree with you. I will say that I am a big fan of the live streams and being able to see every hand from beginning to end. But like you said, there's a lot of downtime while people are thinking, specifically in the main event, which kind of isn't where we're going. We're both on tangents now. But yeah, so you grew up doing that. Where'd you go from there?
Yeah, so I first played poker in a casino when I was in college. This is like 2004-ish. And I was like, went out and played like 2-4 and 3-6 limit at Canterbury.
Yeah.
I was a losing player for sure. I remember like that at one point I like discovered the concept of like position in poker and that it's like better to be in position. And then I went on a streak where I won like 10 sessions in a row and I was like, I thought I was never gonna have to work again. I was like a poker pro now. And then like
was this still at 2-4 and 3-6
yeah,
limit?
I think I moved up to 4-8 eventually, but
Okay.
that was as high as I got. But then I just like immediately lost it all back. And didn't go pro at that point.
You want to tell people what you do for a living?
Yeah, I'm a software engineer, but
Okay.
I was not back then.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, these days well, I'll get to it, I guess. So yeah, back then I was like delivering pizzas and sandwiches and shit, and I was like playing in bands, and I didn't have any money, so I wasn't really playing a lot of poker.
Yep.
So like up until 2012-ish, I kind of dabbled. I played like some home games, and I like occasionally went to Canterbury. I have a faint memory of like my first tournament at Canterbury, which is pretty funny. It was like a side event in some fall poker classic, and I remember I busted with trip queens. It's like one of the few hands I remember of my life, really. I still don't remember it clearly.
13 years ago or something.
Yeah, yeah. But I just remember the feeling of like getting all in with trip queens, and like he had a full house, and I just felt so stupid. Like I was like this, I'm like the worst poker player ever. I'm so dumb. And I felt terrible. And like it was probably just totally fine, like I don't know in retrospect.
Yeah.
It's probably just some cooler,
It's
But
like
that
your
was
first tournament as well. Is that
yeah,
what you're saying?
yeah, it was my first tournament
Yeah.
ever. Yeah. First in a casino anyway, yeah.
Give yourself a little, yeah. Did you play online at all?
Um, I don't think so. I mean, I played on Bovada like definitely in the 2000s, the teens, but I didn't play online pre Black Friday at all.
Okay. Okay. And when was your first time visiting the World Series of Poker?
I went out there. So in 2000, at the end of 2015, I got a big insurance settlement for a bike accident I'd been in. So I got like 150 grand. And
Oh.
I was like, if I ever have 100 grand, I'm gonna go play the main event. So in 2016, I went out to the Rio and played the main event. Uh, and I like, I remember I got all hoodied up, and like I got headphones and sunglasses, and just like, totally tried to hide, like, which I never did normally when I
Hmm.
was playing, it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
totally out of character. And I was just like so nervous and like obviously nervous,
Yeah.
and I busted on day one, just totally punted it off. I got owned by Damian Salas, who was at my day one table, and it was before anybody knew who he was, like before he won the main event, and then he also final tabled the main event another year.
Yeah.
But he just broke my heart. He had like three bet me with 9-7 offsuit, and like
Wow,
made it
that's
made it.
disrespect.
I deserved it, man. And like he made a nut straight, and I made like the second nut straight, and
Mm.
I paid him off on that one. Then I like busted calling off, like made two pair on the river on like a flush and straight completing river. And I called it off for all my chips, and it was just a terrible call. And yeah, so anyway, that didn't go too well.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
I like just to pause real quick, and tangents are a thing. I liked how you mentioned you kind of got all geared up into something that you're not comfortable with the sunglasses, the hat, the headphones or whatever. I have also battled with myself on this, where I've in the main event specifically will put in headphones, wear sunglasses, kind of cover up a little more than usual, and that's not my comfort zone. Like that's not how I play poker anywhere else. And I don't know if it's just a mental, a change. I don't know. Something feels different. I don't know if I don't play the same or what, but I've not had good results doing that. And then, like this year, for example, I went back to good old me. The result didn't change. I didn't cash the main, but I felt better at the table for sure. Okay. So you busted the main event. 2016 was your first time.
can I comment on that a little bit?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if it would have really mattered. Like it's probably I was gonna be super nervous regardless, and it wasn't really like, wearing sunglasses is what made me nervous. And I do think like I just played a tournament running aces yesterday where I didn't, maybe like two hands I covered my face in big spots, but I mostly didn't try to cover up at all. But like when I played the main event this year, I think that there were some pros at my table who had pretty good reads on me, and
Yeah.
I should have covered up more.
Okay.
Mm.
So
Okay.
I don't know. I think there can be some value in like if you can't control your pulse, which I cannot, there is some value in trying to hide that in big spots, I think.
I agree with that. Yeah. Wes, do you experience anything like that?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I guess I haven't thought that deeply about it, but I have recently tried sunglasses, and I feel like it actually helps a little bit. Um,
I've seen you with your hoodie pulled all the way up, like as tight, and then the drawstrings, you tighten them as tight as possible. You look like Kenny from South Park.
um, I've never, I've never done that except as a joke,
Oh,
but I've had my hood up a couple times as well.
I've just seen the photos. I mean, you are a joke, so it makes sense.
Thanks, Max. Yeah, where were those from? Where was the photo from?
I honestly don't remember.
Yeah, you didn't see shit. I do the sunglasses sometimes. Um, And yeah, I think in one way it just sort of helps me like feel like I'm not giving off anything, but then I think it actually does do a little something too. Um, I've heard some pros say like, oh, it just doesn't matter. But then
Mhm.
I've also heard some say like it actually really does make a difference.
Okay.
Um,
I haven't had, I have a hoodie on almost always when I'm playing poker. I definitely don't, think there's any issue with like, say, covering your mouth up to your nose or like kind of putting yourself, like hiding your, your neck and your mouth a little bit. I think eyes are probably what would give away the most information, but I mean, I don't know. I'm
I
not
think
sure if
it's
that's
actually
true.
the hands. Like
You think so?
it,
Like shaking and stuff like that? Here we go, guys.
it can be more, yeah,
Tangents.
it can be more subtle. And this is more based on what just like body language experts have said.
Okay.
Um, I'm not saying that I get great reads off of people's hands, but like,
Yeah.
I
so I
think
think actually one thing people can do is like keep your hands, in your lap below the table. Like that's a good thing to do.
I like that. I like
yeah, but I think but that's just like something you can control, and I feel like my pulse is something I can't control, you know.
Like you
Hmm.
said, that makes sense.
And there are also like your dilation of your eyes is a thing, but I just don't think people are getting reads off me with that most of
No,
the
for
time.
sure. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I definitely
Is
would be
your
able to.
Mike, is your pulse balanced? Is it like the
N-
same rate when you're bluffing versus when you have a huge
No,
hand?
it's absolutely not. I mean, I
Oh,
think I have the same tell that most people, like the normal tell, which is like if I'm all in for value after about a minute, I'm feeling pretty chill. And if
yeah.
I'm bluffing, I'm still not feeling chill, you know?
Yeah.
I know that feeling. I know that feeling well. Yeah, so don't wear a heart rate monitor on your watch.
Yeah. No,
Or,
that's
or
smart.
if also you could pull the Mike Mattis out and just grab Wes's wrist and feel his pulse, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to mention that.
When did this
Quick.
happen? Was this year or is this old?
This was this year in the Millie Maker. I was on Mike's left, and there was a hand where three ways I flopped a set. I jam, or I put him all in on the river, and he kept thinking, and then he kept saying stuff to me, and then I just kept staring at the table and didn't answer, and then he like just touches the top of my wrist. He said, no, you know,
How
doesn't
did you
seem like
not
you're.
tell me this story already?
I it was in the group
Oh.
and the Discord. So um
Yeah, I pay a lot of attention, I guess.
yeah, well you weren't out there at that point, I don't think. So you might have muted it,
Yeah,
but
I did mute most chats while I wasn't in Vegas, actually, just because of work and stuff. So that makes sense.
yeah. So he puts his hand and he's like, "Oh, your heart's not racing." And then he folds and then he like pats me on the back and says like, "Nice hand." And I was just like,
That's a cool story. I like that a lot.
I was kind of pissed. I was, after the fact, I kind of realized like he was just messing with, like he was definitely folding,
Yeah,
and then he just did that as a performative
he's
thing.
a character for sure.
But in the moment, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like this guy, you can't just like touch someone
I
to get
agree
a
with
read
that
on
as
them.
well. I agree
But
with
but
that as
also,
well.
what are they gonna like? The floor isn't gonna do
You should have
anything,
just
and
punched him in his face and then claimed self-defense.
But
I
he
could,
also made like a sick fold against you, didn't
I don't know. He kind of did. It made a lot of sense that I had him beat. It was like he was early position, I was directly on his left. It was ace eight, seven, five, queen, and I had pocket eights, and he had ace king, and I had bet into a three-way pot, and it was kind of a spot where he doesn't really beat any value. So maybe I'm bluffing three streets, but also I would have to start doing it three ways. So
he? Sure.
But yeah, it was a good. He took like 2 or 3 minutes to fold.
Okay.
Um,
Let's get back on track here. So
yeah,
so Mike, you how many World Series had you played up until this time? Until 2025?
I don't know if like let me think. So I did go like I don't know. I must have gone out a few times just to play like, like a week or two.
Yep.
But like prior to 20 like so prior to like 2019, I guess, I didn't really play poker that seriously. in 2019 I like moved to Seattle. I took a job with Amazon, and I moved to Seattle and I started playing tournaments regularly out there, and that's when I like first started studying poker.
Okay.
I think I signed up with Upswing, their lab, and I actually like tried to improve
Okay.
and started having some results in lower stakes tournaments. And then when I moved back to, I hated that Amazon job as an aside, quit in 2020. I moved back to Minneapolis. And since then, I've pretty much been like grinding low stakes tourneys a lot and also like doing random trips around to wherever in the world to play poker.
Okay.
And so prior to this year, like I'd had a couple of decent tournament scores. One was at the series, but it was actually like at a win daily. That was my biggest tournament score for like 47,000. And that was a few years back.
Okay.
Um, and then in 2023, like after I'd made a bunch of money, like in the stock market, like through
Okay.
the pandemic and after the pandemic when the stock market was going crazy. Um, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna not work for a while and I'm just gonna travel and play poker. And I started off with like a big tournament score in the Irish Poker Open in Ireland, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, you went and played that? I've always wanted to play that.
Yeah,
That's
it's and
awesome.
it's fantastic. I'd like to go back there. I think I asked Wes if he wanted to go play that year, actually. Uh,
I vaguely remember that. Yeah. Or weren't there satellites somewhere online?
yeah, they have satellites, but I think they're on like Poker Stars, so
Okay.
you wouldn't be able to play them. Well, at least I.
Maybe they have them on Coin Poker now. I think they do.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a sweet,
Anyways.
it's a great poker festival. I highly recommend it. It's expensive to stay in Ireland though, but
Okay.
Mhm.
the,
I know
the
Wes and I battled with you over, the years. We see you a lot at Canterbury. I think is it the Saturday like 350, the Mike Wilklow Classic? Can we call it that?
the 250.
The
The
250. Okay,
250,
because they
yeah.
have a 250 and a
Yeah.
350 if I remember correctly. I haven't played these much
The
like
Yeah.
350s once a month, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so like that's what I consider like my bread and butter. And
Okay.
like the only thing I know about my poker game is that I'm winning in the Saturday 250 at Canterbury. Uh, like I'm definitely winning at low stakes live tournaments.
Okay.
And
Good.
And
that I think the jury's out.
well, you mentioned you in 2019 you started really kind of getting into studying and stuff like that. Now, obviously, it's 6 years later. It's 2025. What does studying look for like for you now?
Yeah, so now like this past year I've been using the Chip Leader AI tool
Okay.
Yeah.
as my like primary study tool. And then also I guess doing lots of like hand history discussions on Discord maybe is this, and then last year, like the prior year, I started reviewing hands on GTO Wizard also.
Okay.
I pay for one of their subscriptions so I can run like hand histories that I've saved through their tool and look for like mistakes, which is pretty useful for pre-flop stuff, especially. It gets a lot less useful for post-flop, I think, because I just have their like pre-solved solutions, which uh, I would just post flop. I have less faith in it. Say I don't know.
Okay.
There's a lot more
Mhm.
room for like the people you're playing against aren't playing like the computer thinks they will be.
Are you studying daily or
Try to.
weekly?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You spend a little bit of time trying each day. I know obviously there's just chatting in Discord. There's a lot of people, including yourself, who run hands off each other, and I know that's a great way to improve the game as well. Little plug: go ahead and join the Discord if you have not yet. Link in the Discord. You can talk with Bracelet winner Mike Wilklow. Run hands off him, but okay. So yeah, all right. So I saw before this summer you had somewhat roughly probably about a half a million in earnings. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. You want me to give you the abbreviated rest of my poker journey up to
Please
this
do.
year?
Yeah, please do.
So yeah, I had that score in the Irish Poker Open, and then that same year I went to the World Series. And I got crushed at the World Series, lost all the money that I'd made in poker for that year back. And I also lost a bunch of money in the stock market. And I was like, okay, I guess I have to go get a job again. And
I,
so,
I remember running into you that summer and you kind of hinted at that.
yeah. So 2024, I like went back to work. I still went back out. I took the summer off and like went back out and tried the World Series again in 2024. And I'd like quit drinking before the series, so I was like very confident that I was now going to have a winning summer, the World Series, but I did not, and I lost a bunch of money again. So like 2025 this year, I wasn't actually planning on going out for the whole summer. I just was going out for like 10 days twice, something like that. And then I went out and I just immediately won $1 million in the Mystery Millions. So,
Yeah.
Congrats on that, by the way. I mean, that's
yeah.
obviously it's, well, actually, let's start here. What was it like during that run? And with, having all these people back home rooting for you? I mean, was the support just unreal?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really, I got a lot of texts from people like after I won, but I didn't really know like how much people in Minnesota were paying attention. But I had like a big rail out there at the series.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like and I think even like since I've like got back, like one of the cool things about like the tournament poker scene, I think, is like everybody's just like happy for you when you win,
Yeah,
and
for
or
sure.
like everybody's congratulating me, like which feels like it's probably different from like the cash world of poker. Like I can't imagine like if you just wreck your home game for $1 million, like they're
Yeah.
gonna be coming up to you and congratulating you,
Right. Yeah.
It is a
In
different
tournaments,
world.
tournaments
Yeah.
are a little less personal where it's like everyone's money just goes to the pool. You're not winning the money directly off of anyone.
Right.
So I think that's probably why.
And
But
there's
yeah.
also something to be said between cash games and tournaments where tournaments kind of is like you're chasing glory, whereas like playing cash games is more of like a 9 to 5, in my
Yep.
opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So you went out to Vegas this summer, very first event. It's a $1,000 buy-in, 19,000 something entries, and you just go ahead and ship the thing outright for $1 million.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of hands we want to get into, but let me ask, how many bounties did you collect, and what was the total of those as well?
11 bounties for $38,000. They were all like minish bounties until the final table. I got one 25K bounty.
Okay, that's still pretty. I mean, it's obviously getting min bounties suck, but when you're already at the final table and you're playing for $1 million and then pull a 25K, that's pretty sick.
Yeah. I actually like the story of me entering the tournament's kind of interesting too.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I almost didn't play it. Like I was going out, this first trip, I was like focusing on mixed tournaments. So I like played a triple draw tournament, and then I played the $1,500 dealer's choice tournament at the World Series. And I lasted till like the end of day one in that tournament. I busted on like the last level or something before bagging. And if I would have bagged that tournament, I just wouldn't have played the Mystery Millions at all. So like I fired just one bullet on the last flight of the Mystery Millions.
Okay. What did you beg after day one of the Mystery Millions?
A very small stack. So I had like the last level of the night. In that tournament, the money bubble is like couple hours before you bag for the night, or maybe a few hours.
Yeah.
Like 5% of the field or something bags and then is eligible for the mystery bounties on day two.
Mm-hmm.
So the last level of the night, I was down to 8 big blinds, and I had some very drunk man at my table who was like just blasting. And like the last, when after they announced like 5 hands left, at the end of the night, it was like literally like one of those last 5 hands. He opened late position, and I had pocket eights in the small blind, and I like
Full
got
send.
it in, and he like snap called me with ace three or something, and I got a double, so I ended up with like 15 bigs for day two, something like
Okay.
that.
I mean, honestly, I'm assuming, obviously you said 5% of the field makes it, and that tournament isn't the greatest structure of all time. What are you're probably somewhat near average with 15 bigs on day two, or what is it? Maybe
No,
just
no,
over 20?
I was short.
Oh, really?
Um,
Okay.
I think it's only like 20 bigs is the average.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought it would be around, but I wasn't sure.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't remember actually. I remember that I was on like I was certainly one of the short stacks at my table on day two to start.
Okay,
That
well
makes
let's kind of detail from day two on at this point, and if you have any hands from day one you want to talk about, we can definitely do that as well. But yeah, let's kind of start off from the beginning and then work through some interesting hands that you played going through that.
Sure. How many hands do you want? I have like 10 hands to choose from that I've like done analysis on.
Yeah,
mean,
so Mike was awesome enough to bring us a sheet here with a bunch of different hands that he played during it. Honestly, whatever ones
Should we
stood
just
out.
start at the top?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, it
yeah,
looks like
sure.
this one's from day one here.
Yeah, if you want to go through all of them, we can just start at the top. Yeah, so the first one, there's only really one, or actually no, there's a couple of things interesting about this one. So yeah, and this one, it's like level 3 very early. I'm 100 big blinds deep, and I open, or sorry, the under the gun 7 opens. I have kings in the low jack, and I 3-bet,
Hmm.
and they call. So we're heads up to a flop. There's like 20 big blinds in the pot. It's early position versus low jack, 3-bet pot. And the flop comes ace, ace, king, rainbow. So I have pocket kings. I just flopped a full house. And it's like the best full house because there's 2 aces and he's going to have a lot of aces, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
So on the flop, he checked. I bet tiny, like about 4 big blinds, and he called. The turn was a 9. So now the board was ace, ace, king, 9. He checked and I bombed the turn. I bet 30 big blinds. So I bet like,
Over pot.
yeah, like less than 4 on the flop, and then I bet 30 on the turn. And he called, and then the river was a 6, so not completing really anything. He checked. I jammed for about 60 bigs, which is like 2/3 pot, and he called with ace 8, and I got like the full double. Very
I'm
early.
willing to bet that after he calls that turn bet, we can easily condense his range into an ace.
Yeah, maybe I should like not read the whole hand history, huh? I should like stop and talk about each.
No,
But
that's
this
okay. I mean, no, that's
this
okay.
one's probably fine to breeze
We have a
through.
lot of hands to get through, so the ones that are really interesting, we can definitely dive into more.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, you bet 30 bigs into 27 and a half on the turn on ace, ace, king, 9. Unless he's got pocket 9 specifically, we can pretty much put him on an ace and not much else. What do you think, Wes? Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. One thing I was going to say that I liked is so he opened at 2.5 bigs. You 3-bet to 8.75 bigs, which I think so that's like 3.5x. And I think sometimes even when you're deep, people don't 3-bet big enough. And I think this is a good 3-bet size. So, it just helps to like now the pot's 20 big blinds instead of maybe like 16 or 17. And it just kind of helps,
That's a great point to bring up. Yeah, I mean, you're able to now get all the chips in the middle by the river here, even though being 100 bigs deep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, in this hand, like I think the interesting things are like the sizing. I guess obviously it's you flop a boat, you're gonna try and get chips in. So it's like just questioning whether these are the right sizes to bet. And this guy I thought was a recreational player. And so I was just thinking like, if he has an ace, I want to charge him the maximum. Uh,
It seems
I-
fair. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Wes, what would you think sizing's on the turn? So I think the flop, I really like the flop. It just, there's a few reasons. I mean, I'm, there's a few reasons, but yeah, you're just going to get called from most on this board. That's like, ace, ace, king. I think betting very small was a 3.7 into 20. You're just going to get called from everything that's not made hand, as well as, the hands that like ace X, which he had.
Yeah. Yeah, if anything, I think we could go slightly larger on the flop, but I think it's good to bet small for sure.
Yeah.
Get called by the gut shots or the pocket pairs, and then turn I think is good. It would be tempting to bet small, but you're right that like at this point, once you bet again, his gut shots, his pocket pairs are all going to fold regardless. So it's like let's just get
Charge
a
the
ton
hands
of
that he's
chips
already
from
made
an
with.
ace.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty much it. And you might play differently if you had ace king versus king king. But yeah, I mean, I think all around, and then the river is just, easy 2/3 pot jam.
And I think to clarify, Wes, the reason you play ace king differently is because he now has one of the aces, which makes his opponent having one even less likely.
Yeah, they're more weighted towards a king than an ace at that point.
Yeah.
Um, Did he? So one quick question. So he paid it off with ace 8. Was that ace 8 offsuit?
I actually don't remember.
Okay.
I assume it was suited. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. So you ended up winning, a big pot right out of the gate, level 3.
So that was like a quick double, which like, on level 3, we're like starting is like 100 big
For
blinds, I guess. I don't know. I think probably 40K starting stack in this one.
yes.
So that, yeah, now I'm very deep. I'm probably the big stack at the table after that.
Okay.
I
All right.
double
Let,
starting.
let's go ahead. So hand two here looks like we're still at day one with the blinds at 1K and 1500.
Yep. This one, there is really only one decision point. So this will be a very quick one. Um, and it was because I had pocket aces here. So there's an early position open, min open, and then I'm in under the gun 7 immediately after them, and I just called, which is the only decision point in the hand. Because after that, people jam, and I obviously don't fold.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, like I called, the hijack jammed with a short stack, 20 big blinds. The under the gun player called. I re-jammed, and I guess you could say that's a decision, but whatever. And then I won a huge pot. So it's just like really the only question in this one is like early in a big field tournament like this, should you ever just flat aces or should you always three bet, right?
Right. It's because you might be losing, that's obviously a great question to ask here. Because obviously the under the gun eight opponent who opened to two big blinds has 50 bigs, and we want to try and get those in. But if you think that our opponents behind us on the 20 big blind stacks and stuff are aggressive and are going to be doing it pretty, frequently, I think the flatting is good. What do you think, Wes?
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, we don't flat aces in early position, even when we have 20 bigs. So my inclination here would just be to always three bet.
Yeah. What
I think it's definitely good that there are some, some stacks that can just squeeze all in behind us. Like it's
What-
probably
What's your image at this point as well? Like, I think if you've been overly aggressive, three betting can be good too, because then you're going to get squeezed down by the opener. Four bet on the opener, maybe a little bit wider, but anyways.
Yeah, I don't really remember. I mean, I think I would assume that I was three betting my normal frequency, so like probably more than the rest of the table, I guess. But
Okay. Okay.
yeah, I can see that. This is a I got that feedback from the chip leader folks as well that like especially if you're going to be three betting a lot, then you should just always three bet your strong hands too, your aces and your kings.
Yeah, I think that
Um,
makes sense. Do you know what that 20 big blind jam was? What he ended up having?
um,
It doesn't. It
I
doesn't really
I
matter. I just
think
realized I
yeah,
missed this.
I think he had a big ace like ace queen or something, and then the under the gun eight player had like pocket nines, something like
So
that.
I just realized this. So that under the gun player who opened to two bigs called the 20 big blind. So you ended up getting maximum here.
Yeah, he called the 20 and then he called my rejam too.
Oh
yeah,
my
that's
god,
huge.
So
So
I
it
like
works out perfectly.
yeah, no, I stacked them both. So then I was like a huge stack after this.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
So yeah,
Okay.
I picked up like 70 bigs on this one.
I think, like you said, there was one decision point there. Do we three bet or flat? And
Yep.
yeah, I think it sounds like. I mean, again, I don't know what the 20 big blind stack had. I don't know if he would, if you three bet, I wonder if he four bet jams his hand for 20 bigs. I'm not sure, but regardless, you got maximum. So,
Yeah.
okay. Hand three, day one, 1K big blind, or 1K small blind, 2,500 big blind. Where are we at here? Okay, there we go. Hero opens. So go ahead and read it off for us, Mike.
Okay, sure. So this one I had pocket tens under the gun 7. I opened and the cutoff and the small blind both called. So we were three ways to a flop. And the
And what
flop
was, do you know what your stack was? It looks like they have 21 and 30 big blinds apiece.
I was very deep.
Okay.
So I don't remember. Let's say I had like 100 big blinds though.
Okay.
But at this point I think I was chip leader at the table. So the flop was 8-7-3 two-tone, and I didn't have either of the suits.
Okay.
So I'll slow down on this one. What are you guys doing on the? I was in middle position here. The small blind checked.
Okay. Okay. And cutoff is in the hand behind you.
Yeah.
873.
Yeah.
There's 7.6 bigs in there. Wes is better at these multi-way pots, but I'm probably just gonna bet somewhere around half pot and go from there.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like, is there ever a world where we try and just get this in on two streets? Because we have the red tens and it's 8-7-3, two spades, one club. Like
That's a good
there are
point. I
so
like
few
this.
good turn cards for our hand. small blind 30 bigs to start, cut off with less. Like, can we just bet 5 big blinds, like go 2/3 pot? I think that,
And then jam safe turns.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'd like that as well. Like you said, we have 2 red 10s on 2 spade, 1 club board. It's 8-7-3. And
Yeah.
I mean, we most likely have the best hand here at this point very often. So, yeah, I like that as well. And
Yeah.
we
I'm
have
thinking maybe
obviously,
even more, like 3/4 close, go 6 big blinds or
when you
something.
said that originally, I was like, yeah, maybe almost go right up to like 80%.
Yeah. That's sort of my inclination.
I like it as well. Okay.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Something that the chip leader guys brought up on this one is this is also a good hand to go for a check raise. And so what they suggested is like trying to get a read on the player to act behind me to see if I think he's likely to bet, which didn't really occur to me. Which in this case probably would have worked. But I didn't really consider that. I was just kind of like, tens is a good hand to see bet on this board, I think. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you want to deny equity, and it sucks when it checks through and you get just some shitty turn card. I do like what they brought up though about paying attention to the opponent behind you before you kind of make that action, because, and I see this in the World Series frequently, where if someone behind me is still in the hand and I haven't acted yet, I can look at them and sometimes they'll be grabbing chips ready to bet.
Yeah, and he probably was. This was like a recreational player who, I mean, he raised me, so I probably would have been able to see something, and
Okay,
it didn't occur to me to do that
Yeah.
in the moment.
it's a cool thing to
Maybe,
bring up.
but a lot of times when they're grabbing chips, that means they're checking, like, because they want you to not bet.
No, so yes, we've talked about that. And there is but there is specifically times where like you can look over to them and like know they're going to bet. Like I've seen it many
Yeah,
times personally, where it is a clear. It's not like I'm curious if they're going to check. Like I know they're going to check, and I've been able to get maximum from them because of it. But anyways,
so I think what I should have been looking for is like how locked into the hand the cutoff was. Like if he
Mhm.
was just kind of like bored, then he's probably not that interested in betting. But if he's like really dialed in, I
yeah.
think that's what I should have been looking for.
Okay. So it looks like you ended up betting just under 3 bigs, 2.7 into 7.6.
Yep, I bet like 35% pot maybe ish is what probably I was going for. Or 30%, I don't know. Cutoff raised me in like a really ridiculous size where he raised to 10 big blinds and he had like 9 big blinds behind, so he was gonna have like quarter pot on the river.
Yeah.
And then the small blind, who was an aggressive player, went all in for 30 big blinds. And
Okay.
so, and then it's, what are you doing with tens here, I guess?
I do remember you talking about this one. I think it felt to me like we have to fold. It just feels we're hoping they both have draws, or we're hoping that, I mean, like, basically either they both have draws or one has a draw and the other has nines, which is what ends up happening here.
Right.
Wow, what a read by Wes. Insane.
um
Yeah, this feels like the total outlier scenario though, where it turned out that I actually had them both beat. But like it seems so unlikely. Like you got to figure one of these guys has a set, right?
And even
yeah,
when
or
you
like 7-8
and even
suited.
when you are ahead like 3 ways and you're all in, like how much equity do we have with 2 cards to come? Like how much against, so obviously we know here our one opponent had nines. We have a ton of equity against him. That's good. But the other opponent has top pair with a flush draw and a backdoor straight draw. I guess we can remove around maybe 8% equity from the nines, and then however much equity that the 10-8 suited has. Like, what are we here if we get it in against those 2 hands? Are we flipping at this point with 2 cards to come? Are we?
Yeah, roughly. I mean, the nines, depending on which suit, basically, like, but whatever his suits are, the 9 of spades may or may not be available. Yeah, we're essentially flipping, but we're
And that's like a best case scenario.
yeah. I mean, it is a very good scenario here because it's not like we're just doubling the 30 big blind. We're flipping to like triple the amount we put in essentially.
That's a good
So
point as well. That's a
very
great point.
yeah. So this given spot is like very, even though it might not seem like it, it's still a very good spot for us with tens, even if we're slightly under 50%. But like
Yeah.
this is the absolute best situation,
Yeah.
which is
Okay.
Yeah,
the reason why I like fold.
I think it's a fold. Yeah, I was like sick when I saw their hands. Yeah, there was cutoff had nines and small blind had 10-8 suited with the flush draw.
So,
Top pair and flush draw.
the flush came in. Is that what happened? 10-8 spades won it.
Yep, yeah, I would have lost, but I don't know that that's super relevant. But
Okay.
yeah.
Just curious. Yeah. All right. Anything less on that hand we want to chat about before we move on to the next one? All right. We'll move on to the next one. So hand 4, day 1, it's 16% of the field remaining. What is it? 15% pay, right? In the WSOP events?
Yeah,
so
so very close to the money.
Yep.
All right. So go ahead, Mike. I'll let you take these away.
Yeah, so this would be like soft bubble-ish almost, where we're not like on the bubble. And there's an old man in the hijack who started with 16 big blinds and he raises to 4 big blinds. So that's the first interesting thing.
Yeah, it's always scary.
So it folded to me in the big blind. I had 38 bigs and I had pocket sixes. So I went all in. He snap called me with pocket aces and I lost 16 big blind. So
Well, that's a big chunk of your stack. I mean, it's almost half your stack, which kind of sucks, but yeah.
sure is. Yep. So I felt really dumb after that one.
Were you thinking that you could maybe, I mean, obviously he opened to 4 big blinds off 16, so now he's got 12 behind. We kind of can assume that he won't fold, but do you think that you're maybe more incentivized in the moment to do it because you thought you could apply bubble pressure?
So in the moment, probably I had 2 thoughts that led me to jam. One was that I thought that this was like a hand that you're supposed to jam GTO from the big blind versus the 16 big blind open.
Okay.
And the other was I thought that this guy is probably going to overfold, which I've got a part 2 to this hand, which verifies the second part. So like after the bubble burst, the same guy, he had like 16 big blinds again, and he opened up almost 4 big blinds again.
Mm-hmm.
Now I jammed this time, I jammed under 10 big blinds. So I jammed like 9.5 bigs, and he folded. And he said that he had ace queen.
What the hell?
So
yeah,
I was like,
he just can't fold any hand for that price.
yeah, he shouldn't, but like obviously he is. So that made me think like, I don't know, is my jam with sixes good here? And I was really debating it.
I think
It
if
feels a
those
lot better
happened in
then.
the opposite order, it would make your sixes a better jam.
Yeah,
So-
I think that's fair because I didn't really know that he would be overfolding. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like, yeah. So perfect. Yeah, exactly. If the later hand happened prior to the ace hand, yeah, I think that would make sense.
Yeah.
And it looks like you
Are
looked
are
at
you guys both
Go ahead.
just folding sixes in this spot or what?
Against OMC, probably.
It feels like it.
I don't love it by any means, and I don't blame you for trying to apply pressure here either. Yeah. I mean, and then sometimes you just, sometimes he just has, ace king, ace queen, something like that, and you're just gonna flip with that as well. So
Yeah, I think we want against 4 big blinds. My instinct is certainly to fold. Like I remember you mentioning this hand too, and I think that was my instinct at the time. In terms of Max, what you said about the order, part of me agrees, and then part of me thinks like a lot of times if people make like a raise, you 3-bet jam on someone and they fold, the second time they do it, if you jam on them again, they might feel like they need to take their stand or something.
I mean, yeah, I
it-
agree with that as well.
Yeah, it can sometimes work in almost the opposite way. I don't really know though. It sort of depends on what you think about the given player. But yeah, I think my instinct is to fold the sixes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's correct in retrospect. So the feedback I got on this one is that like against this type of player, like we really like if they're playing, if we've identified them as like a really tight player in this spot, then we just like realize equity against them when they fold the big blind and we pick up the blinds and antes. And also like if they defend the big blind and just fold to a small C bet, like that's where we're really like winning all the chips off of them. And like the nodes where they open to 4 big blinds, we just don't really have to fight them in those nodes. I
Okay.
think that's probably the
Yeah,
correct approach.
yeah, that makes sense.
Can I give a disclaimer as well? And you know, in benefit of how you were, you know, the actions you took is that we can see the hands here. It's written down on paper, whereas you're in the moment battling it in real time. So obviously,
Yeah,
the decision is going to be much easier in hindsight. Obviously, I still agree that I think that I would have folded sixes pre-flop, but again, it's easier for me to say that sitting here behind a computer. So
I
just
think, yeah, I mean, this is a spot where I probably just didn't adjust enough for the player. Like
yeah,
I was
yeah.
in my head, I was like, I know sixes is a jam here.
And
Like,
when you're playing
For
so much
sure, been
poker
there.
and you're having so many thoughts, I think it's more difficult to come to conclusions that might seem easy hindsight. All right, so
And
go
one
ahead.
other clarification. So you were running these hands past like Chance Corneth and Alex Foxen.
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Yes.
actually, Alex Foxen and Chrissy Foxen.
Oh, nice.
How sick is that, dude? I love this that you get to just run these hands by them. That's pretty awesome. Okay.
And quick question: did you make videos of like? Did they do that on video, or was it just like a private thing?
It was like it was on video. It was like a group call.
Okay. Is
That's
it
They were,
going to be on the chip leader site?
no.
Okay. Gotcha.
I thought for sure they would have put that out or something. That would be cool.
It's like, well, you have to
They
like
left
pay.
it for us to put out, guys. Come on.
It's not public anyway. You have to like it's available for this was part of their inner circle coaching program.
I got you.
Okay. Because I also I'm a subscriber. Like I use their chip leader coaching, so I was curious if it would be available.
I don't think it is if you just have the chip leader AI subscription.
Okay.
All right. So moving on to hand 5, we're approaching the bubble now. You're obviously not the big stack at this point. You've lost a few hands. What are you at this point? Let's see. Does it say on here?
It looks like I have 40 big blinds.
Oh, hero 40 bigs. There it is. Go ahead and read it off.
Do I kind of forgot this one. So okay, yeah, we're approaching the bubble. This is like more like the hard bubble basically in this field. Even though we might not be like on the direct bubble, but it's such a huge field. It's like
It
we're
goes
probably
quick,
like a
yeah.
hand or two off the bubble, you know? And the big stack at the table opened in the cutoff. I defended the big blind with ace 8 offsuit. And so the flop was queen jack jack rainbow, and it checked through. Which seems, there's no reason for us to lead this spot, obviously. So yeah, whatever.
Yep.
So the turn is an ace that brings a flush draw. So I have ace 8 offsuit. I now have a pair of aces on a paired board. So it's queen jack jack 8. Or sorry, it's queen jack jack ace. I guess his first decision is like, are you ever leading in this spot? I did not. And also I'm up against the chip leader at the table on the bubble is another thing.
Yeah, I'm probably just check calling. Just feels most comfortable.
Yeah, that seems, I don't think there's even really I don't think we ever lead this spot. So that's what I did. I checked. He bet like 40% pot. I called. That seems pretty standard, I would assume, right?
Agreed.
No other thoughts?
I no.
Yeah.
Wes, no. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so then the river completed the flush with a 9 and also complete some straights. So it's queen, jack, jack, ace 9 with running hearts coming in. I checked. He bet half pot, 7 big blinds. Are you guys calling here?
This is tough. It's like here's
It
the
is
thing: is
tough.
we have flushes, so for him to bet into us here, and it's a half pot bet about right.
Yeah.
It just seems value-y to me. It doesn't feel bluffy. And now anything that he's betting for value here, we're losing to. Again, this is obviously much easier for me to say on paper when I'm looking at it than being in the moment. But it just seems like, I guess you could be chopping with like ace 10.
Yeah, I guess the question is, he bets about half pot. So are we good here at least or more than 25% of the time? We can probably assume he doesn't have a jack, like a jack would bet flop. But yeah, does he have a flush, a straight? It feels like a straight probably bets. That's the question too, though, is like what checks back on queen jack? I feel like he should just range bet this flop.
Yeah, well, a lot of people, I mean, especially in these fields, it's just like someone will flop nutted type hands and just start trying to trap. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, like queens, queen jack.
Yeah.
The flush surprised me. Like it would surprise me in the moment.
I mean,
I guess
yeah.
the queen four suited makes some sense to check back the flop, but it also doesn't make sense to start barreling the ace turn on.
Yeah, so
So
he did end up with, I called and he had queen four of hearts
yeah,
for the
yeah.
river
So
flush.
he rivered a backdoor flush. I agree with Wes completely. I like that he checked the flop because I mean he can just get two delayed streets and then not overinflate the pot. Betting the ace, it seems like he was just like at this point removing the pot controlling and then just trying to range rep. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
does that make
Yeah,
sense?
it's like
Yeah,
he was semi bluffing the turn, but with a hand that didn't need to bluff. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it would make more sense to bet the flop and check the turn actually.
I
I
100%
agree.
agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that play. But so you end up making the call, and he has queen four hearts. I guess. Yeah. I mean, I think here. I mean, your hand is a pure bluff catcher, then, right?
Yeah, it is for sure. But like, yeah, I don't know. It seems close to me. I think it's probably maybe, I don't know. It's probably a fold, but like it seems pretty close to me. Like
It does. I mean,
we
again, in the
we
moment,
can't
for
have
sure.
we can have flushes. Yeah, I guess we probably could have some straights too, but um probably don't have a jack.
Hmm.
Like I'm guessing like when the turn brings a flush brings all these draws, I'd probably just raise my jacks most of the time.
You know,
I
I
check on.
I do want to say that sometimes you'll just see people randomly like flip over pocket fives here, like start
That's kind of the hope, I feel like.
because they'll check the flop for just because they have pocket fives, and then the ace comes, they're like, well, I can rep the ace. Then all of a sudden they start betting it, and then they bet again, and all of a sudden they don't know where they're at, and then you call and they have pocket fives and like good hand. So I feel like there's universes here where they just have an underpair where you could be ahead of. So I thought,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it could he can. I think he can just have like 6-5 of clubs or something.
yeah,
Like when if the ace comes on the, I bet it would be weird to check the flop with that hand.
that's my thought. Like
Yeah,
if he has
that's
5 6 of clubs, he should be c betting like I
But
would c bet
like,
like 1.8 or 2.5 or
yeah, but
something.
I mean, I'm with Wes though. Like, I would just think he c bets 100% of hands here.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of
mhm.
confused when he starts with a check. You
I think
know?
it's really important to again realize that we're playing in a 1K 19,000 person field that is just absolutely full of people who don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
So
I think I was like kind of coming from like my hand is just too high up in my own range to fold versus half pot on the river here. Because this is like one of the best hands I can have probably. Like, I mean, I can obviously have some flushes and some straights, but I don't have, I don't have trips ever. So this is my next best hand.
yeah, yeah. You
But
know, go
yeah,
ahead.
but maybe that's just you can just fold anyway, I guess.
You know
Maybe
what
just
makes
call
being a
flushes.
studied poker player difficult is that I don't remember the name of this bias. There's not recency bias, something along the lines of, but where you expect people like your thought process is such where you expect people to almost be on the same level as you. Do you know what I mean? Not obviously, like we know that there's players worse than us, but like when we think about the actions that they would take, like for example, we think that he bet 100% here, but he didn't. I just think that makes it difficult, anyways. But kind of off topic. But go ahead.
That's all I got on this one. Do you have any thoughts, Wes?
Yeah, it's about it.
Okay. So
It's a
hand
tricky one.
six, stone bubble. Go ahead.
Okay, this one is against Dan Shack, who is a known entity. Uh, he's been very tight at the table. We're on the stone bubble. He opens the low jack to 2.5 big blinds off the 30, which seems like a somewhat large size for this point. I just barely cover him in the small blind, right? Yeah, I'm in the small blind, and I have ace king. What are you guys doing here on the stone bubble? Ace king offsuit.
Go
Yeah.
ahead, Wes.
I feel like probably just all in, especially versus 2.5x instead of 2x. Yeah. If we're suited, 3 bet smaller, but ace king off just feels like one of the hands that we're just fine taking it down from out of position here. And we do cover him by 2 big blinds, which is actually very important because then if we lose, we still get to cash.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, I agree with Wes here. I think just stuffing it in. I understand he's been very inactive. Which what I mean, do we assume that he's on the stone bubble? He's probably has a very strong hand here. He's opening.
Yeah, I didn't think he was opening light at all.
Yeah, I mean that seems fine. It looks like
Yeah,
you ended up jamming.
I jammed and he like tank folded and he looked pretty disgusted. I think he folded like a very strong hand. But it is I think it's an interesting spot where like the solver will say to not jam, I think. Like when it like against like a similar size stack in these really heavy ICM spots, the solvers I think want you to just 3 bet with like everything. Uh, and against like if you cover them by a lot or if they cover you by a lot, then they want you to jam. But yeah, and in talking to this with the chip leader guys, for instance, like they said one of the considerations for jam versus 3 bet is if you think that they will 4 bet you light. So like if you would if when you 3 bet if they're gonna jam the suited wheel aces, then it makes 3 bet more enticing. And if they're not, then it makes jam better.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting. I think jam is fine though.
Okay. And then you got a disgusted look out of Dan Shack, which is also cool.
I thought we were going to be like a huge flip on the bubble. I was not expecting him to fold really. Like when he
Yeah.
went into the tank, I was like, oh, he's got jacks.
It
Okay.
sounds like
Yep.
you ran it up pretty good here as we approach the bubble, though, back up to 32 bigs.
Yeah. Um, do. Yeah, that's the last hand I have from day one for all
Okay.
this stuff.
You
So
you did ask a couple questions here, like what other hands would we want to jam in this spot? And does it being a mystery bounty alter the decision? And honestly, I don't really know the answer to either one. Um, I have ideas for what other hands we'd want to jam. I don't know if it would be pocket pairs or like the queen jack suited type stuff. And then the mystery bounty part, I don't really know because we're still, like you said, 5 or 6 levels, which is 2.5, 3 hours away from day two.
yeah.
So I don't really know the answer.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, in general, it seems like you want to bag a big stack for this kind of tournament, but yeah, you're right. It's the bubble in this case is actually like pretty far from bagging. So
mhm.
Okay.
yeah.
Well, so we've overcome day one. We're now into day two, and it looks like we might be well into day two. Well, how many people made it into day two? Do you remember?
Thousands. I don't know.
900.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So starting this hand, it looks like we're down to 165 players left.
Or maybe
Um,
about 1,000. Yeah, probably something
Yeah.
like that.
okay. So yeah, I mean we're under 1% of the field at this point. You have 28 bigs. Go ahead.
Yeah, so this was a critical hand for me in day two. Yeah, obviously I like spun it up from my starting stack. I didn't write down a lot of those hands in day two. I would say in general in the mystery bounty tournament, just one general rule is that it's like pretty easy to get it in good. So people are trying to get those bounties. So like if you have a
Yeah.
good hand,
Well
they're not
said.
going to fold. Yeah. Uh, so yeah, I ran good in all ins in day two, I guess, and like I survived to this point. So we're down to 165 players, and in this one I have ace queen suited, and I raise early position like under the gun 9. I wrote down, and the button who is a big stack 3 bets me to 5 big blinds, and I started with 28 big blinds. So that's the first decision. Uh, under gun 9 versus a button 3-bet, ace queen suited. I assume fold should be out of the question. So
How
it's
many
really,
big blinds does the big stack? I mean, is he got you well covered?
yeah, let's say he has like 60. He probably has me like 2 to
Okay.
1.
Okay.
Um,
And you have 28 to start, so now you make it 2, so you have like 26. Does that sound about right?
yeah, yep.
Um,
So
I,
are we calling here? Are we 4-betting? Or are we jamming?
if I were 4 betting, I would be jamming. I think call's probably fine. I think, man, it's a tough spot. Honestly, I feel like either calling or jamming seem both equally fine to me. I'm not sure though.
I probably lean call. I don't really know how the mystery bounty plays in here. Like you probably have very little fold equity, but also you're
I
going to get in
think
good more
You don't think
likely.
he's got fold equity?
I did. So I didn't write it down, but I do think that by this point, like the big bounties were gone,
Okay.
what it's worth.
Okay, I see.
Yeah,
Because it's a mystery bounty, you don't think he's got
they
fold
went pretty
equity.
early on day 2. The $1 million bounties at least.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So it looks like you ended up landing on flat.
Yeah, I think it's probably a spot where you mix calls
Yeah.
and jams. Would
That's
be
what
my
I'm
guess.
feeling anyways. But so you end up flatting, potted is 12 and a half bigs.
Yeah, looks like I put that in my notes too. Yeah, I was like mixing 50-50 here. Yep. So I called and it was an ace high flop, which is, good.
To say the least.
Ace 10-4 with two suits that neither of which were my suit. Um, I checked. He bet small. He bet quarter pot, 3 big blinds. And what are you guys doing against this C bet here?
So honestly, my first gut, I have not looked past this, so I do not know what anything happens at this point. I will say my gut feeling is obviously he can have a ton of just like Broadway hands and some gutters, some diamond draws as well. But I think flatting here and keeping his just like bluffs in as well seems completely fine.
Okay, so I had a different idea. I think all three of us had different ideas.
Yeah.
That's
My
great. This is good. Let's discuss.
Yeah, I like just a small check raise. Like, so you started with 28, so you have 23 going to the flop. Your opponent bets 3 big blinds. We raise it to like 6.5 or 7 big blinds, and then we can jam turn. And like it keeps in his like, can he really fold kings, queen, jacks to this sizing? King, queen with a gutter. Like he still has an incentive to call in position and try and get your bounty. Like you can have some combo draws.
Those are the ones I'm afraid of getting to fold those, the king queens, the queen jacks.
But he's not going to bet those anymore, anyways.
Oh, you don't think so? Oh, you
On
mean
ace 10.
after the flop, or after the flop action, you're saying?
Yeah, if we check call and he has pocket kings, he's just going to check it down. So
If you,
like the check
I'm
click is the way to get action from those.
okay. I'm not sure I fully agree that he might not continue betting with hands like king, queen, and queen jack, but go ahead.
As kings, queens, and jacks, I'm saying.
No, that I agree with. I'm saying the hands
Yeah.
I'm talking about, like king, queen, and queen jack.
Oh, I didn't know you were talking about those.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, that's possibly true. I would also say that like
His 3 bets
we
obviously pre-flop are going to be more probably geared towards kings, queens, and jacks, but
yeah, like the king queen type hand or king jack suited, queen jack suited, he may keep barreling those if we check call.
you know, now that I think about it, I do like your small check raise actually even more because now we're going to be able to, it's going to be easier for us to get it in versus hands like ace 5 suited and stuff like that as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
that makes
yeah,
sense.
I think so.
Yeah, I
So
like that.
Oh, well, okay. Well, now I see what he has. Okay. I literally hadn't looked at all at what I just scrolled down. Okay.
Yeah, no, I think that makes a lot of sense. I just ripped it. So,
I mean, I don't think that's
uh,
terribly, and it's not, I mean, now that I see his hand, like, yeah, obviously he's not folding this hand.
yeah, it works perfect.
He ended up
I
having
think,
ace 8 of diamonds, so he flopped top pair with the nut flush draw.
yeah. And so this was like a huge spot in the tournament for me where it's like a 50-50 flip basically.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
And I guess that's how you win tournaments is you win these hands when you get it
Yeah,
off.
that's a huge one.
And you know what's also nice about that is now you're set up to just start collecting bounties with a stack like this.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really collect that many bounties on day two, but
I mean, sometimes it doesn't work out in your favor, but when you have a big stack, we're going to be drooling over every all in, you know?
right. But even like even without the bounties at this stage in the tournament, we're getting to like severe ICM pressure where
Yeah.
like it's good to have a big stack.
You're essentially just playing to win, and then if bounties come, let me ask you, if are you just playing like focusing on winning, and if bounties
Yeah,
happen to
pretty
come along,
much.
you'll just be along for that ride?
Yeah, I mean, almost like once the $1 million bounties are out of the $1 million, there was a 500K bounty, maybe two of them.
Okay.
Once all those were gone, I think like most players were not chasing bounties anymore, really.
That makes sense. And Wes and I did an episode on how to win big in mystery bounty tournaments. Make sure to check that out. It's actually maybe almost a couple of years old at this point, but we discuss on
Yeah.
how you can calculate what you should be gambling with based on what bounties are available in the available still in the prize pool. Did I articulate that well? Does that make sense? I feel
Yeah.
like that sounded weird.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So, any questions we want to discuss about this? I see you got some notes here.
Yeah, I realized that I didn't actually go over that one with the chip leader guys. I was like looking for my notes on it. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. This one we didn't have time for. Didn't go over it. I think your just small raise is probably better than jamming though. I agree.
Yeah.
in
I mean,
retrospect.
yeah, I think if we jam here and say he does just say he has ace five of spades, he's probably just going to fold it.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Okay, this is a really juicy one. The next one. This is probably the hand of the tournament for me.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
getting real now. 45 players left.
Yeah, this is day two, 45 players, and I'm like a middling stack. So I have 32 big blinds, which is probably at maybe a little above average. I would guess that average is like 25 big blinds or something at this point. And okay, so I'm in the low jack here, and I open with ace eight offsuit,
Okay.
which is already like a bit of a deviation, but I think it's correct. So this is like 5% field remaining, and I think earlier in the tournament I would be folding ace eight offsuit in the
This
low
is
jack.
this is 0.5% of the field remaining.
Good point. Yeah, much less than 5%. Yeah. Right. It's not, but it's like not, yeah, I don't even have charts for this, I guess, but like, because it's like, it's not like there's two tables left in the tournament, but it's also like way less than 5% ICM.
Yeah, the solvers just they don't even comprehend the World Series tournaments.
Yeah, right.
Can we pause here for a moment and kind of dissect this for a second? So you just mentioned, so you have ace eight off. You're in low jack with 32 big blinds, 16 million chips. Oh, that sounds so nice. But anyways, what can you explain to the listeners why this isn't open for you here compared to where you said you would fold it earlier in the tournament?
Yeah, so in big ICM spots, the ranges are going to shift so that you open more of the ace X and less of the suited connectors.
Okay.
Because like now more of the equity that you're going to realize is going to be from just people folding the blinds, basically. And so it's more important to have blockers to their strong value than to have like suited connectors, which have like a high, they can win, like the value of like a suited connected hand, like 7-6 suited, is that you can win a huge pot, right? Like you want to get heads up and you want to flop a flush draw or something, right? Or a straight draw.
Okay.
But at this stage in the tournament, you're not really trying to play post flop. Like you want to just raise and take the blinds.
Yeah, because there's so much. I mean, yeah, like you said, just picking up the blinds is huge value, a huge ICM value. So
Yeah, I think that's the way I would think of it anyway. Like,
okay, thanks for
like,
articulating that. I think that was
like,
well said.
and we're like shorter stacked also.
Yeah.
Like it's like handle like suited connectors are way more appealing when you're deep stacked.
Okay, and
But
looks like the villain in this hand is Daniel Strelitz. I believe he's a 1 or 2 time WPT champion. I know he's a crusher. He's been around for a long time.
yep. So
Deoxy Ribo, something like that is his Twitter handle. I don't know. Anyways,
they called him the scientist on the final table stream.
he has had that nickname for a long time. I don't know if that was from WPT or what, but his dad is always in the field like sweating him. I remember that.
Yeah, his dad was there.
Yep.
I didn't know who he was, but I knew that he was a good player by this point. Like I already
Okay.
had him pegged as like a good reg,
Yep.
but I did not know he was like a pro even, you know.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, he's been around for probably a decade or more, even. I don't even know. But anyways,
So yeah, so yeah, but basically the strategy deviation is like I'm opening ace eight off here, whereas like I would probably just open ace nine off normally in the low jack as the worst ace I would open.
okay. Okay.
Minor, very minor deviation, but um that is why this became an open here. He probably could open ace seven off here too, I guess. I don't even know if I was though. But so anyway, Dan Strelitz, the scientist, called in the cutoff, and the big blind also called. I don't remember who was in the big blind. It's not really relevant, I guess. So I have ace eight offsuit. The flop comes 10-10-2 rainbow. And I have two of the suits that are in the rainbow here. So I have like I have the ace of hearts, eight of diamonds, and the 10 of hearts and 10 of diamonds are both on the board.
That's
Which
the
does
first time I think I've ever heard someone refer to a two as a two instead of a deuce.
Instead of a deuce.
I didn't even realize I did it.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the big blind here checks, and this is the first decision is like, should we c-bet on this flop into a covering stack in the cutoff?
I would love to see like a 1.8 big blind bet here.
What
Seems
do you think,
reasonable.
Wes?
Yeah, it seems reasonable. I also like
I didn't read you what
flatting
you bet, by the
ranges.
way, when I said that. Okay. Just
Yeah, flatting ranges here are going to be.
or maybe even just like one big blind.
I'm a little worried that even when we're ahead, he's going to float and then take it away
When we check turn.
later. Yeah, I could see small bet or just check here.
I think I agree with that. I mean, and the thing is too, Daniel, he's not one, I feel like he's going to have more floats than probably anyone at your table here.
Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, so check, you bet two bigs into 7.5. I think that's fine as well. I just always enjoy, I mean, this is obviously a much different spot, but on these like extremely dry boards, just betting small and getting all the nothings to fold. But that usually works a lot easier when you're heads up and not three ways. Like, for example, if Daniel wasn't in the hand and you were just heads up against the big blind. So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I would say like what I was thinking is like I was thinking, okay, we're multi-way and this is like a super dry flop, and those are the kind of flops that I should be c-betting. Like a lot of flops I would never c-bet if it's like that's what I was thinking at the time. I think that was incorrect. And like after analyzing this hand more, or just like the wrong way to look at it. Like it's true that it is a very dry flop, but like the fact that it's the 10 that's the card that's paired on the board, that's actually like bad for me here, I think. Because the in position player in the cutoff is just gonna have and the big blind are gonna have more tens than me, I think.
Okay.
So that didn't really occur to me at all. Like if it was 10-2-2, that's probably a better flop to c-bet because like in position cutoff's not really going to have a two, and the big blind's going to fold a lot of their twos also. So it's also a very dry board, but like I just don't have like the nut advantage on this board as much.
Right.
I think.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I think you will have still more 10x. I don't know in terms of percentage of your range. I don't know, but you will have plenty of 10x here. You'll have like
Jack
all the
10,
ace 10 and king
ace
10, and then you'll have maybe all the queen 10, like
he'll definitely have like Jack 10 suited, Queen 10 suited, but
yeah, 10 9, 10 8 suited.
yeah,
Maybe
9, 10
even
suited.
some offsuit queen 10, jack 10. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's okay.
I mean, one thing I was thinking like that I was wrong about was like I thought that a lot of his suited like Dan's suited 10x like Broadway 10x would three bet here.
Mm-hmm.
But he actually had one and he just flatted. So I think I was making a bad assumption there.
Okay.
But yeah, I know. I think it's like he probably is flatting more of his Broadway 10x, and like he's three betting more of like the ace king ace queen stuff. So I think he is kind of heavy on the 10x here.
Okay. All right. So you end up betting two bigs. He calls big blind folds. Your heads up, and we get the 9 of hearts turn. It's kind of a somewhat interesting turn, I guess it could be. There's 11 and a half
It
bigs in the
gets
pot.
pretty interesting.
Yeah. I mean,
'Cause
so you have the ace of
I
heart.
do remember this.
You have the ace of heart, 8 of diamonds. So
yeah,
it's fair to assume our opponent does not have the backdoor nut flush draw here.
yeah, we got the nut flush draw blocker. Yep. So on the turn here, I check, and now Dan bets almost exactly half pot, like slightly less than half pot. Five
So
and a half.
this is, let's pause this here because this is exactly what Wes was talking about. Where the situation we kind of didn't want to find ourselves in by c betting, right? Where we bet small, we get called. Now we have to check fold the turn. Well, you were saying this is a very significant pot for you, so I'm assuming this isn't where the hand ends. But I want to know your thought process on this call here. I mean, did you plan on having bluffs on rivers, or do you just think you sometimes have the best hand here as played? What's your thought here after he bets 5.5 and you call?
Right. So, I mean, my first thought was like, okay, I'm folding.
Yep.
That
That was
my
my initial thought as well.
which is probably the correct answer. But then I was like thinking about it more, and I was like, okay, this is actually like the worst ace of hearts hand I can have. It's the very bottom of my ace X open range, and it's probably has the best blockers to strong hands here because it's going to block straights that complete on the river as well. And if I would be calling here with flush draws that want to jam the river, I probably want to have some hands that I can bluff with on the river when the flush comes in too. That's what I was thinking.
That makes sense.
But the problem is just I'm not getting the right price. Like this is a big chunk of my stack that he bet.
And you're 45 people away from $1 million.
Yeah. So like I started the hand with 32 big blinds, and I bet, I've already invested 4, so I'm down to 28 bigs, and he's betting 5.5 here into 11 big blind pot. After I call this bet, if I just call, I'll have like 22 big blinds behind, or let's see, is that right? Yeah, 28 minus 5. Yeah, I'll have exactly pot behind basically. So I don't know. I made a call here. What do you guys think?
I mean,
I would have just folded.
I would have folded as well, but I mean, I'm looking again here at how this played. I love the fact that, here's the thing: you fold, you lose, right? There is something to be said about having a plan or being able to make an action that kind of throws all that out the window, and we can kind of get into that further as we discuss what the river came and what happened.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, I mean, this is really like the puntiest part of the hand here.
I will say this is where Nick Schulman, comes over as the commentator and says, Ollie, Mike is taking it to the streets here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that this call can ever be good in like retrospect. But it's like, if I don't make it, I probably don't win the tournament also.
It's sick because I mean, you can definitely just be dead, right? You're just dead a lot. So,
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, go ahead. So you end up calling the 5.5. There's 22.3 bigs in the middle. The river comes a 6 of hearts. So I'm just going to repeat the board for the squad here. It's 10 of hearts, 10 of diamonds, 2 of clubs on the flop, 9 of hearts on the turn, bringing a backdoor flush draw, 6 of hearts on the river, bringing in that backdoor flush draw, but also bringing in some straights.
Yeah, and I have a hand that blocks both of those.
Yeah, you have the ace of hearts and the 8 of diamonds. The 8 of diamonds blocks the straights. The ace of hearts blocks the nut flushes. And go ahead and get into the action.
So yeah, I effectively jammed the river. I led 20 big blinds into the 22. I only had like 2 big blinds behind.
Mm-hmm.
So I did the like almost all in, and the way that I do it, which is I never do the single chip thing. I always keep like 2 big blinds because who wants to play with less than a big blind, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. Okay. I will say if I ended up busting here by playing it as such, I would have a very bad rest of my night.
Yeah.
So would I have, man.
This is definitely one of them where your pulse got going a bit, I'm sure.
Yeah. Did you? Okay.
Yeah,
Were you
for
covering
sure.
up after when you bet this
Oh
river?
yeah.
Let's hear about the personal experience of betting your entire stack
I
on this
mean, I'm
river.
sure I had my face buried in my hoodie. I probably did for the whole hand. I'm not sure, but or I mean, I'm sure I was pissing my pants
Yeah.
after like bluff jamming the river here, in this like huge ICM spot. When yeah, he can absolutely just have a full house or trips. In my head, I didn't think that he had a 10 very often, is the thing.
Yeah.
Like I thought that he just was gonna have like a lot of king queen kind of stuff.
Pocket eights, maybe. Oh wait, no, he wouldn't bet that on the turn. Never mind.
Yeah, I did think he was gonna have pocket eights. Like I thought he was gonna have lots of like small pairs and then lots of broadways.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Just kind of
and I was
flow and
like,
then trying to turn into a bluff on the turn.
I can get him to fold pocket eights,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think I could get him to fold a 10, but that's what he did.
So yeah, it sounds like he says, I mean, we didn't actually get to see it, but he claims to have king 10 of spades, which is definitely possible. Here's the thing. I think that he is the only person probably at that table who's going to fold that hand because he's willing. I mean, I don't know who's all good at your table, so this is just pure assumption, but being, Daniel Strelitz, he's smart enough to know. I'm assuming his thought is like, you're not going to be doing this. For you to be bluffing here seems absolutely maniacal, and he found it. And now his hand is purely a bluff catcher with King 10 suited. So, I mean, I guess you could have like Jack, Jack 10, Queen 10, 9 10. 9 10 you lose to,
I don't think
obviously.
I can. Honestly, I don't think I would play just a bare 10 like this ever.
Oh yeah, I guess checking the turn. Yeah, for sure not. Yeah, yeah, I agree with
Like
that.
check, call, turn, and then lead river.
Yeah, so I mean, hands you would have probably a lot here, or what? Like Ace X of Hearts, and then I don't know. Yeah, I guess I mean there's a few different
Po-
straights in there. I guess you could
Pocket,
have, but
I mean, pocket nines is what he was thinking.
yeah.
Like I remember him mentioning that when he was in the tank. So yeah, I
Oh
think I have like nut flushes and a couple full houses,
yeah,
like 10
yeah,
9 suited and pocket nines, I guess. So
yeah.
like there's only one combo of 10 9 suited if he has a 10. So
What a sick hand. And you got him to fold what seems to be, I mean, which essentially was the nuts on the flop. That board run out for you and the blockers you had, I think it worked out. I think that was, I mean, absolutely yeah, maniacal, but it turned out to be incredibly
yeah,
crucial to your tournament.
I mean, it's very lucky that it was a hard on the river. It's like, it's kind of like I wasn't getting the right price to even like call with a flush draw and make the flush, and instead I called with a hand that was like gonna try and bluff like it was a flush.
And I'm
Yeah.
assuming that, say it was, for example, the five of clubs, just one of the million hands that doesn't complete any of the draws out there. You're just gonna probably just fold, right? Check fold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the hands that you could do this with are like the broadways with a heart. Because then when you check call turn, you have some straight out equity, and then you have two overs to like the
Yeah.
nine.
Like king queen with a king of hearts or
yep.
something.
Yeah, king queen, king jack, queen jack. It all can kind of do that. I
Same,
think.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
I
But
wonder if
who's
queen
crazy
jack
enough
would
to
double
bluff this
barrel.
spot? I don't know.
queen jack, you might double barrel. Yeah, it. I mean, obviously this worked beautifully. Um, but
Okay.
yeah, so
Uh,
that is a cool hand.
Let's so we got two hands left for the listeners here. Or is it just one hand? Two hands left, it
Two
looks
more.
like. Yeah. Go ahead. It looks like this one might be a little bit longer.
Yeah, this one's from the final table. This is the one that people who are watching the stream would have seen.
Okay. Okay. So
Um,
This
yeah,
is heads up.
it's heads up for the bracelet. Before we get into this hand, what is this moment like for you? Like, how are you feeling? Does it feel surreal? Are you dreaming? Are you just dialed in and not even thinking about that? What's this moment like?
I was very dialed in. The final table, like it started off like Michael Acevedo just was on fire, and it like after like 15 minutes, it was like, okay, we're all playing for second place. Like he's got all the chips.
Yeah.
Like he just won like he got like three knockouts and won a couple all ins right away and had a huge chip lead. But then, you know, he lost a couple all-ins. He doubled me up. Like, no, like I sucked out on him with an ace 10 versus ace king all-in spot.
There we
And
go.
then
Yeah,
what?
wait, didn't you river him that hand? Do I
No, I
remember?
think I flopped a 10.
Oh, you flopped it. Okay. Okay.
It was like it's not an interesting spot though. It's just like it was
Yeah.
just like a standard get-in spot, I
Yeah.
think.
Okay.
But he just, you know, I had ace 10 in the small blind, he had ace king in the big blind, and it folded to me in the small blind.
Okay.
So, you
All
know,
right. So
um,
so yeah, we're heads up. You have 46 bigs. The opponent has 33. You're heads up for a bracelet in a 19,000 person field with $1 million up top. Incredible. I don't.
And
There's
by
a
the
lot of.
way, I think the pay jump here, because they made it so first was a million. So second place was quote unquote only like 530 or
But it was
560.
like a $500,000 heads up match, right?
yeah, it was like 80K ladder between third and second, and then 460K for between second and
That's
That is
insane.
absolutely insane. I mean, you almost have to play for the win when that's the case, I feel like.
yeah. I mean, I was pretty much playing for the win the whole time, so I
Yeah.
never really adjusted my strategy, I guess, but
Okay.
maybe I was like a little more aggressive pre heads up in the final table than I would have been if I was really focused on getting like at least second kind of mentality, I guess.
Okay.
I did like I three bet him with ace, like the chip leader, Mike, who I ended up heads up with earlier. I three bet him with ace five, and then when he folded, I like flashed the five as kind of a needle.
Yeah, there you go.
Just like I don't know. I think I was trying to be a little antagonistic at the final table to
Yeah.
like let him know like, you know, I'm fighting for this one, I guess, you know. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but I definitely was playing for the win the whole time. So okay, so this one's pretty spicy. So yeah, 46 big blinds. I have the chip lead at this point. He has 33 bigs, but we're pretty even. I had Jack six offsuit on the button, and I were heads up. I limped the button, and he checked back in the big blind. So flop came 6-9 queen rainbow, and I checked it. He checked, and I checked it back. So that's the first decision point. But
I,
you guys betting this flop?
I feel like no. I feel like he's not going to be folding a lot. There's just so many combinations of whether pairs, straight draws. Yeah, in position. I just like checking this and kind of keeping the pot small at this point.
Yeah, I could go either way. I think, yeah, neither one jumps out. Because, like, if you bet, you're obviously not trying to get three streets with this sort of hand. So, like, you can check here and bluff catch, or if it's a good, if it's like a four on the turn, then you bet turn to deny equity or get value.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
So
But
I think I would normally see bet this flop actually.
okay.
I don't remember what I was thinking actually in the moment. But I assumed that I was randomizing, and I probably just randomized like a 25% check back. That seems like something I would do here. But I think this is a hand that normally wants to see bet because it gets more like it values protection more than a lot of my other one pair hands. Like, you know, any card that comes on the turn is an overcard to my pair of sixes, basically, you know. So
mhm.
Okay. But you randomized, landed on check. We get the check.
yep. So the turn is the eight of clubs bringing a flush draw that I don't have either. I don't have a club in my hand.
Okay. So you got bottom pair and a gutter.
Yep. I turned a gut shot draw. I have a jack, so it's 6-9 queen 8. So a 10 would make me a straight. And now he leads out two big blinds, 2/3 pot, and this just seems like a always call spot. I don't think there's any discussion here. Like I have bottom pair and a gutter. It's like definitely not good enough to raise for value.
But
And
you're
it's
also in position too.
yeah, I'm in position. It's definitely too strong to fold. I think that I'm guessing there's no debate from you guys on this one.
Yeah,
Yeah, that seems good.
yeah, to me it seems good. Yep.
So then the river is the spicy street where the river is a complete blank. It's the three of hearts, which doesn't connect with the board at all. And now he bets out 10 big blinds into seven. So he goes like 1.5x pot on the river here.
This is what we call one of those polarizing bets, right? So
Yeah. And so this is where we go into the tank and think about, should we hero call with fourth pair?
I watched this and I still don't remember this. Yeah, well, let's think about it. What hands is he going to be betting over pot with on this? I mean, you block so it should be straight. I mean, even top two's I mean, maybe going to bet that. I guess top two could.
So yeah,
But he doesn't have, I feel like he doesn't have top two as played.
I landed on, so that was mostly what I was thinking. I mean, I had a lot of thoughts here, but
You
what I
block the
spent the
straight
most
as
time,
well.
yeah, what I spent the most time thinking about is, would he bet 1.5x pot with two pair here? And I
Yeah.
thought that he would not.
Yeah.
Okay. That's I was thinking about that. I actually was thinking maybe he would. Or I guess I should say when I was just thinking about it now, I was sort of assuming he would. I'm not sure whether or not he should. Um
I actually don't think he would. And I
okay.
think like later in the heads up, I got validation on that from the way that he played a different hand, but I didn't, before this hand, I didn't really know that.
Yeah.
But like later, he like bet half pot on the river for value in a spot, and I was like, okay, yeah, he definitely wouldn't have overbet here with two pair, because I think like my range here is pretty weak. Like, what can I really have when I check back the flop and call the turn?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
And so if he actually has queen nine, I just don't think he's going to bomb the river. I think he's going to try and get value from a one pair hand. Like he's going to bet like 2/3 pot or something.
I feel like Wes, I'm glad you said that because I feel like Wes might disagree. We've had a conversation. I mean, it doesn't really relate to this specific scenario, but remember the cash game hand we were talking about, Wes, where I was like, his sizing on the river is what made me call. It was the hand against the poker guys, Grant or whoever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think in this spot, yeah, if he were to bet 2/3, something more like we'll call it milky for lack of a better adjective. He just has more hands that make sense then, right?
So I certainly see where that comes from, and that certainly could be true in the moment. I also would say like this guy is like a GTO guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we've quite confirmed this yet, but like Mike did call with Jack 6 here, so it's like you can actually
Start
like
doing
when I
this
play
with like
cash a
top
lot.
pairs and stuff.
Yeah, or like I think the one reason not to overbet with something like Queen 8, Queen 9, 8 9 is because you block a good amount of the calling range. But
Yeah.
like if you just maybe if you don't from his perspective, if you don't overthink that and you're like, well, his hero calls are if you know someone like Mike is going to value like having the right blockers more than having a bigger one pair hand, because I think at this point a queen, if Mike has queen jack, like if he has top pair with the same blocker,
Mm-hmm.
he's beating the same amount of value when we face the overbet.
Yep, agreed.
So I think like and also you just not that you can't have multiple sizings, but I think I think sometimes when and this goes back to what you said earlier, Max, about how we can sometimes think our opponent is going to be thinking a certain way, whether that's how we're thinking or how we're used to other players thinking. So I think a lot of times if you see the 50, 60% bet on the river, we can assign a certain hand strength to that.
Yeah.
Whereas overbet can seem like a different, very polarized, which to an extent it is, but like, yeah, I would assume that he knows if he has two pair here that he's almost always ahead, and he would just like say, okay, there are a ton of draws here that missed, so maybe if like Mike can hero call with any reasonable hand, since all of my potential draws.
I mean,
missed.
does he know Mike's going to hero call with those hands though?
Well, so also to
He
clarify,
doesn't. He thinks he's not going to. Obviously, if he,
Right, maybe he doesn't, but if he's a GTO guy, he's not going to be thinking so much about whether he's going to be saying like, this is how my range is constructed. Like when I have two pair, I'm going to target all these.
okay,
I'm going to be balanced.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can still have straights here though too. Like
Yeah.
it's pretty rare.
I
Mhm.
think, like you said, this is well, you didn't say this exact verbiage, but it's a banana river, right? It's a brick. And
Yeah.
so I'm going to remind the listeners the board. It's Queen 9-6 rainbow, 8 of clubs in the turn, bringing a backdoor club draw, and then a banana river, the 3 of hearts. So it's like our opponent can definitely have missed draws here, which is, and going back to making this call here. I mean, say our opponent has King 7X or some combination of clubs that obviously just completely brick this river. Those also seem like hands that you'd want to you'd want to size up to get a bluff through on this river. Where I wonder though if he made it instead of 10 bigs into 7, if he bet like 5.5, if you'd fold your 6 here.
I might. Like a
Yeah.
lot of the reason I called is because I took all the one pair hands out of his range, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I think that's correct. I assume Wes, would you agree with that?
Yeah. I think I think for overbet, his value should be not one pair for
Yeah.
sure.
So it's like really a question of does he have 2 pairs? And then even if he does, it doesn't mean we shouldn't hero call here, but like I was thinking that he mostly just has straights for value here. Like, oh, and another thing to mention is that he never has a set, almost never.
Yes. Good
Like,
point.
I am so pumped about what I just read here at the very last, not the second to last paragraph here is something that I've been talking about recently on the
yeah.
podcast.
So I put a bunch of my notes of what I was thinking in here in this
Do you
document that we're
see it,
sharing.
Wes?
Yep. Yeah.
So like
The greatest read of all time. I mean, I'm telling you, it works. Go ahead, Mike.
okay, so the GTO stuff that I was thinking was all my one pair hands are equivalent bluff catchers to start, like Wes was saying. And what matters more is the block, like the side card and the suitedness of my hand. So even though it's after like looking at this hand and solvers later, like he's probably not supposed to bluff clubs here on the river. I still think he might. Like I think if he has a turn club draw that was like no showdown, like 4-2 suited or something, I think that's a hand that might go for it on the river. So I do think it's good to not have clubs in my hand. That's just my thought. That's not really a GTO thing. But I kind of stand by that. Um, and then I want to like not have specifically a 7, I think is the most important card to not have.
Yeah.
Because I think um, most of his bluffs are just going to be 7x, like without clubs. Um, and I think that, and I'd seen this guy, I played with him on day 2 and I'd seen him make over bets on the river in other spots. And like, I just knew that he was bluffing some of the time. Like, I don't know, I didn't know that he was bluffing this time, but I know that he has bluffs, right?
Yeah.
And if I think that he's going to like be following through with all of his unpaired 7x here, I think even just that, even if he's not bluffing the clubs, he probably just has more bluffs than he has value, period, which makes this like a slam dunk call, I think.
Yeah. Wouldn't a 10 or 7 be just as good as a bluff because they both block 2 straights?
Um, maybe. So the 7, let me think. Like, well, the 7 is just has more equity on the turn, I guess.
The
Right?
10 is a double gutter though.
Is it? Is just a
Yeah.
bare 10 is a double gutter? You know, that never occurred to me.
It's like but it's even more reason for you to call. Like if any 10 or any 7 might bluff.
Yeah, you're right. Man,
Mike,
I never occurred to me.
would you bring up the live tell you had?
Yeah. So anyway, and yeah, the rest of it is like when he announced his bet, he made it 100K, which is like a really easy bet to cut out, or it should be,
100 million, I'm guessing.
or 100 million. Yeah, sorry.
Should just be one stack of 20 though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We're all our chips are stacked in 20 stacks, right? So like you could just like grab a stack of 100 and that's 100, right?
But
But
for it,
instead,
yeah.
instead he like picked up chips and cut out 5 stacks of 20, which just seemed like nervy to me. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I've mentioned this multiple times though. When someone can ease, I mean, it's not foolproof here, but when someone can easily cut out a bet and it looks small, versus when they grab all of the chips and make their bet visibly look bigger, it leans to be bluff more often. I've mentioned this in a podcast where I made a call because of that. Just on, I think, one of our last two episodes here, where I made a call because of that, and it turned out to be a bluff again. Because I think there's something to be said about that when people try to make their bets look bigger by doing things like that.
Yeah, there probably is.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Anyways,
it's never going to be 100%, but it moves the needle a little bit. I
I mean,
think.
right, and we're
Yeah,
looking for everything that can move the needle, whatever it can move it, right? So, and that's
exactly.
definitely one of them. And I see that it's just so frequent that I see that, and that definitely is one that moves the needle on my hand. But anyways, nice call. He ended up having the four deuce of clubs for a whiffed flush draw, and you end up
No,
coming
no,
in.
he did not actually.
Oh, I missed.
He,
Okay, so what did he have? Okay, I've read four deuce of clubs
he
here.
had king seven off, no club.
That's funny. I said that hand exactly earlier. I was like,
Yeah.
he could have just king seven.
Yeah, that makes sense for him. Like, it's good for him to not block clubs because you can call turn with clubs, fold river. Yeah, I mean, I think both of your hands make a decent amount of sense, regardless of. It looks like the solver might have some different thoughts on what you did, but like I think both of your plays make plenty of sense.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I was reading here. I see now. Four deuce
Yeah.
of clubs is something you kind of expect him to a zero showdown to turn into a bluff. I see now.
Yeah.
All right, on to the final hand. I'm not sure. Is this the final hand of the tournament?
This is the final hand of the tournament. It's not super exciting, but it seems like a reasonable one to end on.
I 100%
Yes.
agree. Let's hear it.
So, uh, yeah, this is Queen Jack offsuit on the button. He had 24 big blinds, and I was like 2.5 to 1 chip leader or
I
something
do
like
remember
that.
this hand now.
So I limped the button with Queen Jack off. He ISO'd to 4 big blinds, and I called. I think that this is. I mean, the call is obviously standard. I would never jam here.
No,
But you could definitely just raise this hand also instead of limping.
I like it.
But limp call is fine, I think.
Yeah, I mean, were you playing mostly a limping strategy at this point?
Yeah, I think I was probably overplaying a limping straight. Like when I was down around like 20 big blinds and less, I was playing like only limp or jam, which I probably should work in like something like a 20% raise or something like that. I think I
I
need to
don't
work
think
on
it's
my heads up
terrible
game more.
personally. I've had a lot of success just playing a strictly limp strategy, or jam strategy. It
Yeah,
does depend on the depth stack, though, in my opinion. Like
I would also.
if we're deeper, I'll start changing. I'll adjust my strategy to more raising, and then as we get shallower, I kind of adjust to more of a limping.
It also makes a big difference. Like online, you're going to have the normal antes where you each ante like 1/10 of a big
Oh,
blind.
that's a great point.
And then here, there's a big blind ante still. So it's like you're getting 5 to 1, which
We're
means I think you can't fold any hands pre-flop, which
Are we more
means
incentivized to raise because of that?
I would say limp because we want to limp all like 7 deuce off. I think we still limp. Maybe we
Yeah,
fold that, but like,
mostly
8
everything.
4 off, we're going to limp.
Okay.
Um, and
So
so we want
limping
to
allows us to
stay
play all of our
balanced.
hands essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
So queen,
Um,
queen, ace, two clubs, 9 bigs in the middle.
yeah, so it was a great flop for me. I flop trips. He does have all the better hands, I guess, because he ISO'd. So you could have ace queen or king queen for
Yep.
sure, or
Yep.
pocket aces. But surprisingly, the flop goes check, and then I check it back. So this is maybe dubious. I don't know. I should probably bet here. I'm not sure. What do you guys think?
I'd probably lean towards just quarter pot or something.
Something small, yeah. Yeah. See if you can get him to like something maybe inducing sizing.
Yeah. Or if he has like pocket tens, pocket nines, he'll pay you off at least one street here.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I have to suspect, I don't really remember, but I wonder if I just actually thought he might just have pocket aces. Because like, why would he check this flop?
It does seem strange that he checked.
right. I expected him to c bet small and for you to call.
It seems like a flop that he should 100% see bet.
Yeah, I think so. I'm sure that GTO, this is just a range bet, right?
Yeah. But then the jack of clubs comes. The jack of clubs
Yeah,
comes.
I also, yeah, just on the flop still, like, I'm sure though what I was thinking at the time was like, he only, after he ISOs, he only has 20 big blinds left, and it's like not going to be hard to get the chips in on the turn in the river still.
Yeah.
Like, it's a 2-to-1 SPR, so it's like two streets is plenty. So I went for the trap, I guess.
Okay. Okay. And then you turn a boat, so you're thinking of Vegas and the Mirage while you're already there.
Yeah, pretty much. I turned a boat, and it was like I was heads up for $1 million.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
That's so sick. So did he bet 3.5 here? Is that what I'm reading?
No, he did. So
He did.
he leads like a little more than third pot,
Yep.
and it's a flush completer turn also.
And you're in position, so yeah. Yep.
But I mean, that's just the dream turn for me, where it's like not only did I make a boat, but now there's a flush out there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And now you could have something that has a club, and if it misses river, now you have like very credible bluffs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think just call, which is like mandatory here. There's no thought of river raising here. Because you want him to make if he's got a flush draw now, you want him to be able to make the flush or a straight draw apparently, because that's what he had. So yeah, and then the river comes off an offsuit 10. He checks.
You got about a pot size bet.
Yep, I got about pot left, and I jam, and then curtains and a little typo.
I was wondering what curtains jiggle mean.
So
what was his combo again?
he had ace king off. I think no club.
Oh wow.
I can't remember if he had a
I mean,
club.
so you guys were playing. This was the end of the tournament, no matter what. Then.
Yeah, I mean, he could have folded.
He almost folded river. Like,
I think it's probably like a standard call, but like I don't think fold would be out of the question. Like, yeah, I have to be capable of bluffing, which I don't, he hasn't seen me bluff.
Too bad he didn't see that ace 9 or ace 8 with the ace of hearts hand.
He actually was at the table.
I guess
for
it
that
doesn't
hand.
really matter, but
he was actually at the table for that hand.
was he? Okay.
He was at our same table, but he was, I didn't show it. I didn't expose it.
So you jam, he calls, and you're $1 million richer.
Yeah.
As well as a bracelet. What was okay? Now you know me, loving to know more about the personal side of it. What was how did you feel the second that was over when you stood up?
I mean, it was kind of like a big tension release, actually.
Okay.
Like, I was just like taking deep breaths and like, it's over. Like,
yeah, the job is done.
Yeah, I mean, it feels great, obviously. Like, it's kind of like, the last like couple of years when I'd gone to Vegas and like lost, had losing summers, 2 summers in a row. It kind of weighed on me, of like
It
this is
will.
something that I'd really like put a lot of effort into and tried and failed at. So it feels great to actually like get over the hump and like have a big tournament score, which was really like my goal, like I'm almost like strictly a tournament player.
Skip the 6-figure right to the 7-figure.
Yeah, why not? But yeah, I mean, that was kind of like the end goal for me, was to like, win a big tournament, and I did it. So
I hope. Well, let me ask you, because you just said you've reached your end goal. Have you set a new goal beyond that, or what is poker like for you now that you've won a WSOP bracelet and $1 million on top of that?
Yeah, I don't really know what my immediate future is. I've got I'm a contract worker, and I have a contract through the end of the year, which isn't, even if I wanted to get out of it, it wouldn't be super easy for me to do. So I didn't just like come back and quit. So I'm gonna finish up work for the rest of the year and then take some time off, and I guess see how it goes next year. I'll probably next year not work and like study poker and like continue to play like mid-stakes types tournaments. And if I have a good year, I'll probably keep doing that. And if I have a bad year, I'll probably be like, oh shit, I need to get a job again.
Yeah. the cycle of life. I think that's number one, super responsible to come back and finish your obligations. whether it would be easy or not to get out of it. I mean, it doesn't matter. And then yeah, I mean, keep your head on your shoulders and not just go firing 50Ks. I mean, obviously, I'm sure you splooged a little bit out there and maybe entered some things you wouldn't have normally entered, which is rightfully so. But you just won $1 million. Like, you got some tax write-offs you got to get.
Yeah, and I took a couple smaller shots. I didn't like I played a 5K satellite to a 50K,
Yep, I saw
which I
you
had
there actually.
a little bit of a sweat in, where I lost a flip. It was like you start with 25K and you got to get to 250K to win the seat. You know, it's a
Yep.
landmark satellite. And I had a flip for 190K that I lost, but I would have if I would have, it was like ace queen versus fives or something. I think I had the ace queen
That would
side
have
of
been
it.
that you would have had the 50K entry.
I would have been really close. It would have been a real sweat. Like I would have been one pot off of the seat basically.
I gotcha.
Mhm.
And I felt like, but I didn't even really get that beat up about that tournament, even though it was like as much as I like 5K is the biggest that I fired all summer except for the main event. But I felt kind of good about it because I felt like I had like outplayed the field in that satellite, and it was like a bunch of high stakes regs. So I felt pretty confident coming out of it. And then I played the mid stakes championship the next day and I just crushed it. And I like bagged the chip lead from
Bag the
day
chip lead.
one.
I saw that, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
You had some momentum, some heat under you, and
Yeah.
confidence, I'm sure as well, dude. So,
But
and
then
then you, yeah,
I still made like big mistakes on day two after dinner in that one. And there was another tournament this summer where I felt like I made big mistakes on day two where I had a big stack. So I think
okay.
there's a lot of room for me still to improve as a poker player for
There
sure.
always is. There always is, right? But I just want to take the time to say thank you for coming on and sharing that experience with us. I hope people really enjoy this kind of episode, and we look forward to doing a lot more of that. To everyone listening out there, if you want to come and chat with Mike and us, make sure to hop in the Discord. You can find us all in there for sure. Talking poker hands. Feel free to bring questions or whatever you have. Um, yeah, and then we have our meetup game, our first meetup game of the summer, the Suited Kings Clubs Poker meetup game, tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Is that right, Wes? I feel like I get this wrong every time.
Yeah, that's what it is. 7:30 p.m. tomorrow, or we're recording Monday, so
Yeah, it's a 55 buy-in, and there's gonna be some little 50-cent cash games, sweeps coins,
ring
games going.
games.
You know how it goes. But anyways, look forward to hopefully seeing you guys all in there. Mike, you too, man. Come bring that $1 million to the 55. All right.
I'll donate.
Okay, you know what? Let's do this. Just because this is a semi-interviewish-esque format, Michael, is poker a art or a science?
So, like as a fan of poker, I definitely think of it more as an art form. Like the hands that like my favorite hands of all time are the ones that where the people like kind of step outside of theory, like
Like
Adrian.
Ace of Hearts, Eight of Diamonds?
Yeah, that one. And I'm thinking of like Adrian Mateos folding kings on the flop last year in the main
To
event
the
was
aces?
yeah, that's like super
Yep.
sick. And my favorite hand of all time might be Mike Matusow hero calling like an over pot flop jam in the main event versus Greg Raymer with middle pair. And
Yeah.
then he like lost, but like it's a sick hero call. And like I love that hand.
I
Uh
remember that one. Yeah, I remember that. Him and yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So but I also think like the way I play, it's like very mathematical. And I'm almost always in every spot like trying to think of like what percentage I should be doing this and what percentage I should be doing that. And I do randomize. So I think I play it more like a science probably.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I guess
I
I'll
that's
mean,
go with,
fair.
I mean, my favorite answers so far have been it's a blend of both, right? And I feel like that seems kind of where you align as well. So, again, thank you so much for taking the time. Wes, any final notes you want to end on?
No, there's a chance this might be our longest episode ever.
Oh, there's not a chance. It is.
yeah, I
Sure.
mean, I think well, let me know when we're done recording.
All right, yeah, we'll chat afterwards. But guys, thank you so much for taking the time to listen today. We will have a second episode out for you on Thursday this week, as we normally do. Yeah, two episodes a week sounds like a good time to both of us. And we've been seeing some pretty incremental growth lately, and it's motivated us to make even more content. So, big shout out to everyone who's been listening and supporting us along this journey. Hope you guys had an awesome time. Playing in summer, and playing in Vegas this summer. Shout out to all three of us, by the way, cashing running aces this last week, and all three of us made day 2. Wes, of course, busted first out of the three of us, just so everyone's aware.
It was the stupidest thing. I mean,
As
I came in
expected.
He only
strong.
had 10 bigs to bring in the bag, so we'll give him that. But, I got to throw the needles, Wes. But anyways, guys, hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you later this week with another episode.